Inspired Overland rooftop tent is marketed as an all-around, lightweight, and all-purpose rooftop tent. And it comes in at only 87 pounds. But is it really worth $1,000? Let's start off with what really matters, the build materials. Now, the way I see it, this tent is perfect for the weekend warrior. It's made out of light duty materials or medium duty materials. It's a soft shell because it has a tonneau cover. This tonneau cover is pretty durable, but I've already poked a hole in it, so that's definitely something to watch out for. We come back over here, we could check out at least, so this is the V1 version, but the V2 version has YKK zippers. Right now I have these no brand name zippers, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job. And of course, on both the V1 and the V2, the zipper is water resistant. If you want to keep recording, I'm just gonna pop it open. Go ahead and open it up and we'll look at some of these other materials. But setting it up is pretty straightforward. Just gotta open up the zipper all the way around. So here I messed up because I have my awning a little bit too close, so this might take me a while. Once you have that zipper fully open, all it is it's a matter of flipping it up. Once you flip it up, we reveal the ripstop fabric that makes out the walls of the tent, as well as the hydraulic struts that pop it open for you. Inspired Overland was nice enough to include this bungee cable to compress it in as it closes to get the air out, as well as to keep the fabric within the zipper. Now realistically, you could keep the tent open like this, but Inspired Overland does have these posts. Raise these guys up, slot them in right there, give them a twist. Now, I would like to say again that I do really like this fabric. It feels relatively thick, and I think it's going to provide pretty good 3-season, if not 4-season insulation. All right, the part that actually mounts to your roof rack are these 10 series aluminum extrusions right up in here. They're pretty sturdy, and then the subframe is made out of some aluminum bar or bar stock. So even though this rooftop tent is rated for 500 pounds, me weighing I guess a good 220 pounds, does flex this guy out quite a bit, and it honestly is a little bit concerning. I don't know how this tent would support 2 of me. So this ladder is pretty sturdy, and it does a pretty good job supporting me as I climb into it. Setting it up is pretty easy. Just pop this guy open and bring it up. Gotta make sure everything clicks. Once it does, bring it up in here and slot it down into the same channels that the support struts came into. Just like that. And then for security, put this Velcro strap on. Hey yo, it's the 520 right here. Welcome to my crib. What are you doing out there? Come on inside. All right, first up in the house is the master bedroom, most important part of the whole crib. We got a 1.5 inch memory foam mattress, condensation mat, to keep you dry. And of course, we got 80 by 48 inches where all the good stuff happens. You know what I'm saying. And next up, we got the entertainment center with a 6.1 inch OLED flat screen display playing you know what. And finally, we got the best room in the house, the master bedroom with 270 degrees panoramic views. All right, let's talk about the pros of this tent first. Biggest pro is obviously the price. If I were to try to make something like this on my own, between the frame, the fabric, the struts, the ladder, zippers, and a bunch of like little miscellaneous pieces, I'm looking at probably $800 to make this myself. Plus, I'm gonna have to learn how to sew and do some other stuff. And obviously, Inspired Overland benefits from manufacturing these in mass, but I still think that whenever they sell this at $1,000 for their typical sale price, they're barely making a profit margin. So that's definitely a big pro. Another big pro is obviously the weight. At 87 pounds, I don't feel this on top of this Jeep at all. And this Jeep is on 35-inch tires, so it doesn't mess with my center of gravity at all, which is ideal when you're off-roading. The other big pro is that it has these sides that open up and it gives you a 270-degree view. And also, since it's at 87 pounds, this tent is pretty easy for you to put on top of your vehicle. Still recommend you doing it with a buddy, but if you have to, it's a lot easier to do it by yourself than having to lift up a tent that's over 150 pounds. The other big advantage of this is that this tent is only 4 inches thick, which means it doesn't raise the height of your vehicle that much, which is critical if you live somewhere that you have a parking garage or if you have a garage. I know a lot of garages are around 6'10" to 7 feet. This, as it stands right now on top of the Jeep, which the Jeep is on 35s, it measures at 6 feet 10 inches, which is just enough for the parking structure where I live at. All right, so this mattress is pretty decently dense for what it is. I mean, it is thin, so it's, if you're a side sleeper or if you like softer mattresses, you're probably gonna struggle a little bit. Personally, I sleep on my back, so I think it's perfectly fine for me. I do recommend that if you need a little bit extra cushion, to get an inflatable twin size or full-sized backpacking mattress or backpacking sleeping pad that you could collapse in here and leave it inside the tent. But with that said, let's talk a little bit more about the cons of this tent. So the first con of this tent is that you can't really leave anything inside it. At 4 inches thick, I mean, it's great for being low profile, but I kind of struggle to close it with just this sleeping bag in here. If I wanted to throw pillows in here, or again, a thicker sleeping mattress or anything else in here, I wouldn't be able to do it. It simply wouldn't close. The next big con is this, I guess this opening here. These poles bend really easily and they don't really support this guy that well. Now there is some modifications you could do to this tent to support it a little bit better, but as it stands right now, it's kind of a struggle. One of the things, or one of the mods that I've seen people do, is get some of the brackets, I believe it's the iCamper website actually, that puts these posts out at an angle like this. I would like to say probably like 30 degrees out, and that supports this center flap a whole lot better. The next big con is this guy right here is pretty light duty. I would like to see something to hold like an iPad up or something like that, just to be able to watch a movie or something like that. Now, if you're over 6 feet, personally I'm 6'2", your feet are gonna be right up against the top over here. I could sleep in here pretty well if I sleep at an angle, or if I get a pillow, throw a pillow underneath my feet and sleep like this. But again, I am a back sleeper, so that works out for me. I think maybe if you're on your side, it'll work out as well, but it's still a little bit tight, and if you have others in here, you can't really sleep diagonally. And I really do think it's probably just, like, it would probably just be me in here and maybe a pet. The only other drawback that I could think of is that it might lack repairability. It seems like it's gonna be hard to take off the tonneau cover and the sides if something were to rip. Inspired Overland, correct me if I'm wrong there. But ultimately, we gotta remember, it's $1,000. And if you are worried about the size, Inspired Overland has an XL version of this tent for only $200 more. Now, with all said and done, this tent, I think, is definitely worth $1,000. And if you're not planning on living out of this full time, I think it's gonna last you a pretty long time. But that does it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions or what your thoughts are on this tent on the comments down below. Feel free to like and subscribe. Be sure to check out PNW on Instagram. He helped film and put this together. Be sure to check out Off Hours Coffee Project for your adventure caffeine needs. But other than that, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you all on the next one.